Welcome to the deep dive. We are so thrilled you're joining us today.
Yeah, glad to be here.
So today we are jumping right into something that is, frankly, probably affecting you right at this very moment. If you live anywhere near the sandhills of North Carolina, or really anywhere that gets a heavy spring.
Oh, definitely. It is unavoidable.
Right. We're talking about the spring pollen season, but, we're not just complaining about allergies today. We are pulling from a really timely expert blog post by Derek Cole.
Yeah, Derek is the general manager over at Simmons 1 Hour Heating and Air.
Exactly. And the piece is titled The Yellow Dust Season. Protect your HVAC system now. And our mission for this deep dive is to help you, the listener, look way past the obvious, annoying stuff, the visible signs of spring, and understand what's really going on.
Because there is a literal battle happening inside your home.
Yes. Inside your home's respiratory system, basically, your HVAC. And we want to show you how to protect it before the brutal summer heat gets here. So, okay, let's unpack this, because the visual of spring arriving is just crazy.
It really is. Like, you wake up in mid-March, right?
Yeah, you walk outside with your coffee, and your car, your porch, the patio furniture, it all looks like someone just came by and spray painted it all yellow overnight.
Totally. It's thick. It's everywhere. You can actually see clouds of it blowing off the pine trees.
Right, and it's so in your face that it acts like the loud, flashy distraction and a magic trick,
That's a great way to put it.
It draws your eye, you get super frustrated about having to hose off your car, and you think, okay, this yellow dust is the enemy. But meanwhile, the real threat is sneaking right by you.
Exactly. And what's fascinating here is that the dramatic, visible pine pollen is essentially just a decoy.
A decoy? Really?
Yeah, absolutely. When it comes to your allergy symptoms and the actual infiltration of your home, pine pollen isn't the worst offender.
Huh.
Derek Cole breaks down this whole timeline in the post, and it's super revealing. So mid-March to early April, that's your yellow spray paint phase. The pine pollen. And that stuff is heavy. I mean, microscopically speaking, it's massive. That's why it falls out of the air so fast and just cleaps everything.
It's too heavy to float around forever.
Right. And because it's so large, it doesn't actually penetrate deep into your lungs or slip through the tiny cracks in your house as easily.
Oh, wow. So it just sits there making a mess, but it's not the real intruder.
Precisely. The bigger wave, the one that really gets you, starts right as that pine pollen begins to settle. We're talking late March straight through April.
Okay, so what's in that wave?
That's the oak, maple, and all the hardwood trees. And this is a totally different ballgame.
How so?
Well, hardwood pollen is microscopic. It is aerodynamically designed to float on the wind for days.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it travels miles from the tree. And this is what we call the invisible wave. You don't see it on your windshield, but it easily bypasses your nasal defenses and gets right into your house.
And it doesn't even stop there, right? Because then in late April and May, the grass pollen kicks in.
Exactly. So you have this huge overlap.
So even if, a really good spring rain washes all that yellow pine pollen off your car, and you're thinking, great, it's over.
Yeah, you think the rain scrubbed the air clean.
Right, but the air is actually still completely thick with these invisible hardwood and grass particles.
Completely saturated.
Which is terrifying, because if the outdoor environment is full of invisible pollen, it forces us to look at our indoor environment.
You have to.
Yeah.
Because we tend to think of our houses as these safe, sealed-off bunkers.
Right. We go inside, shut the door, and think, safe from the pollen now.
But a house is not a vacuum. It acts like a lung. It constantly breathes.
Wait, how does it breathe if everything is shut?
Well, every single time you open a door to grab the mail, you're letting in a massive amount of outdoor air.
Oh, right.
Plus, you track it in on your shoes, your jacket, your pets bring it in. And even with windows closed, there are microscopic gaps where wind pressure literally pushes the pollen inside.
But wait, let me push back on this a little bit. Isn't the whole point of an HVAC system to, filter and clean the air?
In theory, yes.
So why is it actively making things worse? If I'm sealed in, shouldn't it just grab the tiny bit of pollen that snuck in and trap it?
It's not that the system is intentionally making it worse, but it's dealing with an unprecedented load.
The volume is just too high.
Exactly. An average HVAC system is pulling hundreds of cubic feet of air per minute. It forcefully circulates all the air in your house multiple times an hour.
Wow.
So every microscopic hardwood pollen spore that gets inside is eventually sucked into that return vent.
And it all hits the filter.
All of it. So during this massive spring wave, the filter just fills up incredibly fast.
It turns into a brick wall.
A literal brick wall.
Yeah.
A filter that should last 3 months might be completely choked out in 3 weeks.
Which makes sense. I mean, that explains why you suddenly see way more indoor dust in the spring.
Yeah.
The filter is full, so it can't trap anything else, and the pollen just blows right past it and settles all over your furniture.
And that's why people feel their allergy symptoms getting worse while they're sitting inside their own living rooms.
Because it's just recirculating the allergens.
Exactly. But there's an even bigger problem here mechanically. When that filter chokes, your indoor airflow drops significantly.
Okay, so the system is struggling to breathe on the inside.
Right. The blower motor is straining itself against that clogged filter.
Which brings us to a huge question. If the system is choking on the inside of the house, what kind of mechanical toll is that taking on the heavy machinery sitting outside?
Oh, the outdoor unit is taking an absolute beating.
Because it's sitting right in the middle of the pollen cloud.
Yes. And spring weather actually compounds this whole problem.
Yeah, the temperature swings are wild. You get like a really warm 75-degree afternoon, and then it drops to a cool 40 degrees at night.
And those swings force your HVAC into what's called short cycling.
Right, where it turns on for just a few minutes, cools the house down real quick, and then shuts right back off.
Exactly. It's not running long enough to be efficient.
Yeah.
And while it's doing this stop-and-go routine, the massive fan on the outdoor unit is sucking thousands of cubic feet of pollen-filled air straight through its coils.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting to me. Think about what that pollen actually feels like.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah. If you've touched that pine pollen on your car, it's not just dust. It's thick, it's organic, it's got texture.
It sticks to everything.
So imagine that gunk building up layer by layer on the metal coils of your outdoor unit. It's basically like trying to run a marathon while breathing through a thick wool scarf.
That is exactly what's happening mechanically. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the physics of it are disastrous.
How so?
Well, your air conditioner works by transferring heat. The outdoor unit takes the heat from inside your house and releases it outside through those metallic coils.
Right, the coils need to be exposed to the air to let the heat out.
Exactly.
Right.
But when they are coated in that thick organic pollen, it acts like a heavy insulating blanket.
Oh man, so the heat gets trapped.
Yes. The system cannot move the heat efficiently. So the compressor, the heart of the whole system, has to work exponentially harder.
Pushing at way higher pressures.
Right. And this causes a total domino effect.
Yeah.
The system can't cool the house quickly, so it runs longer.
And longer run times mean a massive spike in your power bill.
Astronomical power bills.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, the wear and tear on the components is severe.
Which explains all those weird symptoms homeowners notice in the spring. Like weak airflow coming out of the vents.
Or that really distinct musty smell when the AC kicks on.
Yes. So the HVAC system is quite literally suffocating indoors from a choked filter and suffocating outdoors from an insulated coil.
It's completely surrounded.
So, knowing all this, how do we get out of this trap? Because the listener needs practical preemptive steps right now.
And Derek Cole lays out some very straightforward immediate fixes in his post.
Right. The very first line of defense, he says, is checking your indoor air filter immediately.
Yep. If it's been in there for more than a month or two during this pollen surge, pull it out.
And keep your windows closed on those high pollen days.
Exactly.
And I think it's worth mentioning Derek Cole's background here, because this isn't just some guy guessing on the internet.
Not at all.
He's the general manager at Simmons 1 Hour Heating and Air. He's been named Top 40 Under 40, featured on CBS, FOX, NBC.
Bloomberg Business, too.
Right. So his advice is incredibly validated, but I do have to ask, is it really that simple?
What do you mean?
Like, is simply keeping the windows closed and changing a cheap standard filter really enough when the system is forcefully sucking in that invisible wave of hardwood pollen anyway?
That is a great catch. And the answer for a lot of allergy sufferers is no. A standard filter is actually not enough.
Because it just catches the big stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A cheap fiberglass filter is basically just a rock catcher.
Mm-hmm.
It'll stop dog hair, but that microscopic hardwood pollen blows right through it.
So what does Derek suggest?
He strongly recommends upgrading to a media filter or a dedicated air purification system.
Okay, so something with a lot more surface area.
Right. It catches the tiny particles without choking the airflow, and that's really Cole's ultimate philosophy here. Spring is your window for maintenance.
You have to catch it now.
Yes. Finding a restricted filter or a dirty outdoor coil right now in April is how you prevent a catastrophic total system breakdown during that first brutal 95-degree week in July.
Because if it breaks in July, you are going to be waiting weeks for a repair guy.
Oh, everybody is booked solid in July.
And Derek actually makes this preventative step incredibly easy for his customers.
Yes.
He knows people procrastinate on buying filters. So Simmons 1 Hour offers free home delivery.
Which is brilliant.
It really is. And you can get 10% off your first filter purchase if you use the code BLOG10. That's BLOG10. It's just direct, actionable value to get you to protect your system today.
It removes all the friction. There's no excuse not to do it.
So what does this all mean?
It means it's time to take action.
Exactly. It means you need to go check your HVAC filter today. If it's fall, change it. Keep your windows shut when the pollen is high, and get your system prepped and clean before the summer heat hits.
And this whole discussion raises a really important, kind of wild question.
Oh, what's that?
Well, think about how much effort we put into sealing ourselves off from nature.
Yeah, tightly closed windows, heavy-duty HVAC systems.
Right. We've actually forced ourselves to build these entirely artificial, highly managed ecosystems inside our own homes.
Oh.
Just to keep the outside world, outside.
That is wild to think about. We're living in these climate-controlled bubbles, fighting off the trees.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you learned something valuable today to protect your home. Go check those filters, breathe easy, and as always, stay curious.